Hey, this is Nicole calling from Hamilton, and I needed to let everyone know that I really proudly support Vish and Creative Control. I have for many years, I will for many more, as long as he keeps delivering these amazing interview podcasts. When you hear one of Vish's interviews, you think he's known this guest for years, they're good friends, but the truth is he approaches every interview, whether it's sort of up-and-coming indie artists or established icons or like famous, intimidating comedians with a really deep, genuine curiosity, so he's never met this person, and the same really warm candor, as though he's known them forever. I think it really lends to a great chat, no matter who he's talking to, and for that reason, I think you should throw Vish, $1 a month? He's got jokes. The jokes make it worth it. Support Creative Control on Patreon.
To make your flexible monthly donation to Creative Control, please visit patreon.com/Creative Control today. I'm Vish's wife, and remember, when you name a dog Janet or Timothy, you are dragging humanity down just a little bit.
3D goggles, twisted supervision. No longer knowing which world I live in. Trying to cook and make a tough decision. Simply reminiscing has regression.
Jessica Jalbert and Jom Comyn are each musicians based in Edmonton, Alberta. Those of you who remember episode 371 of this podcast will also recall that Jessica is a member of the excellent band Faith Healer, who, as it happens, just released a surprise single called 2020 on New Year's Eve 2019. Jom Comyn is the pseudonym for Jom Comyn, a talented rock and edgy folk artist who released a wonderful record in 2019 called Crawl and was once himself a member of Faith Healer. At my request, Jessica had Jim and me over to her house so that they could talk about their respective musical trajectories, but mostly to help get me used to living in Edmonton, Alberta, where my family and I now live. And I'm feeling at least a little lost. I just got here and I'm trying to figure things out. And so I asked them to tell me a bit about life in the city, how Guelph and Edmonton and Ontario and Alberta might compare, what Edmonton's music scenes and venues are like, what kind of food options might be appealing for me, their future plans, and much more. A part of the E1 Podcast Network with the support of listeners like you who subscribe to this podcast and spread the word about it, and make flexible monthly donations at patreon.com/Creative Control, plus in-kind support from Pizza Trokadero, The Bookshelf, and Planet Bean Coffee in Guelph, and Grandad's Donuts in Hamilton. This is the 516th episode of Creative Control, featuring Edmontonians Jessica Jalbert of Faith Healer and Jom Comyn, with your host, me, Vish Khanna. Hello. Everyone ready to go here? We're good?
Ready to go, yeah.
Very good.
Good. We're going to get each of you to introduce yourselves. First of all, I know who you are, but I want you to introduce yourselves, okay? Is that fair? Is that okay? You can do that?
That's reasonable, yeah.
Okay. Why don't we start over here, the owner of the home we're in?
Well, not technically, but I do live here.
You're going to get technical, aren't you?
Yeah.
Legally, I am not the owner, but...
I paid rent this month, so I live here. My name is Jessica Jalbert, and I play in the band Faith Healer, so that's why we know each other.
Welcome back to the
Thank you.
show.
Thank
I
you.
still have fond memories of your lone appearance on this show.
I do too.
We were in Toronto,
Yeah.
and we were talking about...
Your back was really hurting.
Oh, it's a bit
You
sore
were in
today. Was
pain.
I a lot of pain in my back?
I think you were in like a significant amount of pain.
Oh, was I?
Yeah.
I don't...
It was like hobbling style.
Oh, was I like... Oh, no. I don't remember this.
Well, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't be
so
reminding
you.
you.
Think I'm some kind of... Do you think of me as a hobbler?
No, I just thought that was really painful for you, and you did a great job in spite of the fact
Oh.
of being in so much pain. I was like, I wouldn't want to talk with somebody if I was
You know,
like...
I listened to the episode. I couldn't hear anything.
Any pain,
Did we
yeah.
mention the pain? I don't remember this at all.
Maybe before and after you
Oh,
mentioned it, but during you were every bit a professional.
I'm a little bit in pain right now. and my back has been kind of flared up from the moving and the traveling and the
Yeah.
airplane ride, and I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for mentioning that.
No problem.
Nice to have you back, so to speak, on the show. It's nice to have you, Jess. And thanks for having us in your home.
Of course.
Rental or no?
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice down here.
Home is where my heart is.
And you, sir?
I'm Jim Comyn, and I play as Jom Comyn.
Yes, your name is Jim, but you go by Jom.
Yeah, it's just a funny name I made up, Jom Comyn.
What's the deal with that?
You
don't
must
know.
have to feel this question quite a bit.
Oh yeah, more than I every day I regret picking that name.
Really?
No, I think it
It's
looks
cool.
I think it looks neat written down.
Yeah.
But I feel silly saying it out loud
Jom Comyn.
because it doesn't really mean anything.
Right.
I like the
I
way
just thought
it
it was funny.
sounds, but
Yeah.
a lot of people ask, like, "Oh, your friend John." I'm like, his name
Oh
is
yeah,
Jim.
I will eternally get that, and it's my own fault. So
Did
I
you
can't.
do this purposely to confuse people?
It would seem as though I did, but no, I didn't.
You just thought it was a nice...
I was making up a MySpace page 15 years ago or whatever, and and so Common is like an old timey name for my last name, and then once you have the vowel O sound, then
John
drop
is
it
funny.
Jom instead of Jim. Yeah, I thought Jom was funny.
I think it's funny.
It is
But
funny. It's funny.
I didn't think it was that confusing, but I see why it's confusing.
Well, but I call you Jim.
your
Your friends,
that's lovely.
your friends don't call you John.
No.
Okay. Does anyone call you John?
Oh, plenty of people.
Okay. And you don't correct them.
No, at this point, I don't want to. You don't want to correct people.
Have you ever thought of changing your name, Jessica, to like Jessica or Jessica or
I
Jessica?
never
thought of
no.
that. I'm thinking of changing, like, just to take the I out of my name. I'm Vosh.
Vosh.
People mispronounce my name all the time, actually.
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
So I might as well be Vash or Vosh or Voosh. Yeah.
I think that was part of it too. People have been mispronouncing and misspelling my name for my whole, just like with
Right.
the extra M or Cummings or Connings or
Yeah.
Cumins or whatever.
Jim
Like,
is pretty straightforward.
Jim's
I
pretty
think.
straightforward.
You're messing with people's minds. Well, anyway, it's nice to have you on the show. We met, I think, for the first time in Guelph
Yeah,
a few months ago.
I think we had a brief hello because I did a live session the same day that you did a live session at CFRU. So I think
Oh.
I think Bri was like, "Oh, this is Vish."
Right.
you know?
Okay.
But
Oh, right.
but I didn't know who you were at that time.
Okay.
I forgot.
So I wasn't starstruck yet.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you.
But
to maybe
later
say.
on, I was retroactively starstruck.
No, don't be starstruck.
He
Okay.
asked me for your phone number.
Yeah, that's right. We
right.
we hooked up. So did someone else try to connect us as well. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, I've called this convention together because, as you both know, I'm newly transplanted to Edmonton, and I thought it would be good to speak to two of the musicians I know in the city, just to get me acquainted with things. So it's a little selfish, but I also wanted to get an update on what you two have been up to as well. So we're going to get to you as well. But first of all, what I want to know, and I think I know this from our last session there, Jess, you're from Edmonton, right? More or less?
Yeah, from more or less, like from just north of Edmonton. I think we're both kind of farm kids. And so I'm from Sturgeon County, which
Sturgeon
is just north of Edmonton.
But you've been living in the city proper for...
since I was an adult.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And Jim?
Yeah, I was born here. And we moved out to the country when I was about 5 or 6, and then to Strathcona County, which is about east. But yeah, I've lived here since I was 20.
Okay.
So all my
Okay, so
adult life,
Edmonton,
yeah.
you are Edmontonians more or
yeah.
less. if
Yeah,
not-
for
yeah.
sure.
Okay.
For sure. When
So-
we would go to the city as a kid, this is where we would go.
You would come here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want to put you in awkward positions because I'm sure you have multifaceted perspectives on the city. There's good things, there's bad things. But I don't know anything about the city really. I've visited since I've known my wife, so since 2002. Almost once a year I've been here. I have a sense of things. Obviously, I thought about a little bit about what it would be like to live here before we moved. And so now we're here, and I'm grappling with some things. Reality is starting to hit, and I figure you might have some insight into how to guide me forward. So first of all, let's just go with this. Your overall opinions about Edmonton, living here. I'm wondering if we can talk about that first of all. Do you like it? Do you ever want to move to Guelph? Because that's where I'm from, and you've both visited there. Jim, let's start with you. Do you overall, do you like Edmonton?
It's difficult. I was very hesitant to participate today, just for the reason of so. Just yesterday, for example, I found out that a podcast picked my record as like their decade-long Edmonton record. I get this a lot. People, I'm like Mr. Edmonton or whatever.
You're Mr. Edmonton?
Many people consider we don't have an official ceremony here. I don't have a sash or anything.
Wow.
But,
Okay. Wow.
But people associate me with Edmonton a lot.
Right.
People abroad, people in Guelph even, they said, "Oh, I listened to it. It sounds like Edmonton to me." So I
Sounds
don't
like
really know what
Edmonton.
to make of that.
Well,
But-
you named your record after one of the streets of
yeah,
Edmonton.
yeah, where I was living. Yeah.
Right.
But it wasn't like Wayne Gretzky Boulevard or something.
It would have been great if it was.
Although it was 99, so many people thought that it was Wayne Gretzky
Well,
Boulevard. But no.
in music, regionalism is sort of attractive and appealing,
Sure.
particularly to critics. And they were like, oh, I'm learning something about the world. This is nourishing for me culturally that Jim has named his record after Edmonton, might be singing about Edmonton. This is my window into Edmonton. Did you take that on as a responsibility as a citizen?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I was just making it right.
This is organic, natural.
Yeah.
You live here. You talk about here.
Yeah,
Okay.
but so I hesitate to to rag on Edmonton because I want to be an ambassador, but
Right.
I think it's fair to just have a well-rounded. Like when you asked me, and I said I might not be the best booster for Edmonton, but you said it's good. You want to have a full.
Well, I don't want a boosting. I want a
Yeah.
real talk. I want to know. I don't want just sugar-coated, what's on the City Hall website or whatever. I want to know the real stuff. I want to know where to eat. I want to know what the music scene is like. I want to know what clubs to go to. I want to know, where to and not to take my kids. I want to know that stuff. And if anyone's going to know that stuff, it's you two. No one else. No one else I know is going to know that stuff.
That's true. No one else you know is going to know that stuff.
I don't know that many people. I'm trying to have a little social
Yeah.
convening here, and we're going to talk a little bit. So this is a tourism exercise, but I want it from people whose music I admire and whose opinions I trust. So that's where I'm coming from.
No, totally. Yeah, I didn't mean to wiggle out of the question.
No,
there.
that's fair.
Yeah, I think my overall impression of Edmonton is that it's obviously it's my home and everything. It's just a place like any other place. It's in some ways it's no better or no worse than anywhere else. There's a lot of trade-offs, there's some things that are really wonderful about it. There's some things that are really annoying about it.
When we talked in Guelph about this, Jim, and I mentioned this possibility that we might be coming here, you were like, I don't understand what you're talking about. You're like 45 minutes from Toronto here in Guelph, which is clearly someone from outside looking at the actual distance and not someone who has to engage in the
No
traffic.
traffic.
Like
Oh,
it
yeah.
routinely takes me 3 hours. It was taking me. I've been to Toronto a billion times, and I had to set my GPS to go to the Horseshoe. I know exactly how to get to the Horseshoe, but I have to set it every time I leave the house because it'll tell me, don't take the route that is the most intuitive.
Yeah.
There's an accident or construction. So I'm taking back roads. I'm not kidding. Like 2-3
I believe
hours
you.
to get across the 401. And and whatever. I mean, yes, I took my did I take myself out of the game? Is that what you're saying? Like that's what you were kind of
I
implying.
never said anything.
Okay, I'm wrestling with this a little bit, right? I just got here and I'm trying to figure stuff
It's
out.
just
But
you used to play one game and now you might play a different one.
yes, that's exactly right.
Well, maybe I'm remembering now. Yeah, because of the nature of the show, and you get so many artists in and out, and the way that we perceive it in Edmonton is that, when depending on what kind of music, but if someone announces a tour, it's the routine thing. They either skip Canada or they go Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver.
Yeah, of course.
It's very routine to skip Edmonton. So you were in one of those power centers or whatever.
Right, but in the age of the internet, as I was telling Jess earlier, I do most of the people know who hear the show. Like a lot of what I do is remote,
Totally.
and
I
I
think
use
this is our bumpkin naivety
right.
from Edmonton and at the outskirts that we assumed that like you were just like sitting down with them every time.
Well, I mean, and in a lot of cases, I have some of the highlights of the show are the result of like if I was in Edmonton, I wouldn't have gotten to happenstance interview Nick Cave and Warren Ellis. I went to Toronto, and there's going to be stuff like that. Now you're making me second guess this whole thing.
No,
What am I
because
doing?
They do
Nick
come
Cave,
here.
Nick
Yeah,
Cave
that's
was
true.
here, and he stayed in this hotel that's just above the river valley, and he, unlike most Edmontonians, walked down the hill from his hotel and took a dip in the North Saskatchewan River,
wow.
and then wrote about it in his puke bag book or
Right,
whatever.
right.
So
That's cool.
I mean, it could
He's a
happen
cool
here.
guy.
Could
Well,
happen here.
this is a major. Jess, Edmonton is a major city.
Yeah.
It's the capital of the province, right?
Yes, it
Is that right? I'm just
Yeah,
getting
it
used to
is.
things.
No, it is.
Okay, so it's a big city. It's not like Toronto, but it offers a lot of the same things that Toronto might. You get artists visiting here, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right, so that's good. I mean, that's not all that's important to me. I have other things that I care about, you know. Now, Jess, same question. Overall, do you like Edmonton?
Yeah, I do. I do like Edmonton. Like, it's funny actually that you're moving from Guelph to Edmonton, because I used to say for the longest time that the one place I wanted to move in Canada was Guelph, because like it was so nice. I went there for the first time, and like everybody went for afternoon swims off of their docks over top of the river and stuff. And I had a really good thrift store score, and I was like, this place rules. I want to move here.
Yeah, it seems like a place you would thrive in.
Yeah, so I really liked it, and I talked about it forever. I was like, if I move anywhere, I'm going to move to Guelph. And so I do find it not surprising in a way for someone to to relocate between the two places.
Right.
Because I think there's something, like, I like Edmonton, or I like Alberta. Okay, not politically, just so everyone knows, but
yeah, that's another thing. Why am I doing this at this point? Why do we do this at this point? You have ultra conservative. It always the last government was like a socialist government. That's why I can't figure this place out. Now you have what's the name of the party in charge?
It's the UCP, United Conservative Party.
United Conservative Party, which is like an extremely conservative. It's like the only.
Well, yeah, and we're dealing with elections fraud bullshit. Just like it's like Little America or something like that. It feels like.
That's a lot of people think of Alberta as Little America.
Although at the moment you're coming from Doug Ford's
exactly,
Ontario, right?
exactly.
So it's kind of you might as well come here now.
Exactly.
But if you're not thinking about those things, or if you're recognizing, I mean, like, it's easy for me to say because as not really a marginalized person, I don't have immediate concerns with regards to the government. But that being said, if you're not thinking about Alberta in political ways, I think it rules. Like, I love it. Like, it's great for me. Like, it's just the right place. It's just the right kind of forest. It's just the right kind of people. It's the right kind of blue collar. That's my vibe.
In Edmonton.
Yeah, in
Outskirts of Edmonton, maybe a little weirder, right?
Yeah, I guess
rougher around the edges?
I mean, rough around the edges because they have to be.
Yes, yes.
That's how people are, you know? Like, I really like being in a place where the people are really real. Like, I don't really want to live... I'm going on a rant here.
No, this is what I want.
Personally, I don't want to live in a place where people feel like they need, it's going to make me sound really like anti-intellectual or something, but I just don't want to live somewhere where people feel excluded unless they have a certain kind of, you know, what would be considered maybe culture. I don't mean culture in terms of, you know, your people, but culture in terms of high society or something.
Right.
You know, like, that's just, I don't know. I'm probably that way because I'm from here, but that's just what I just like being in an area where, like, the problems are real, the people are real, the divisions are real, but, you know, like, I don't know, everyone's trying to make it work. I don't know.
If you had children, do either of you have children?
No.
So say you had like an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. Would you want them to grow up in Edmonton? What do you think? Is it an okay place to grow up?
I think so.
It's funny you were asking me, Mitch, and Guelph, like, is Edmonton safe? Is it a good place for
kids?
kids?
I did say that. Yeah. That's my worrying. I'm a professional worrier a little bit.
It's hard to because it's like compared to where on earth.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
It's better to raise your kids here than in Antarctica. It's better to raise them here than in a war-torn area somewhere.
Oh, it's extremely safe.
But I've also heard
it's
extremely
like
safe. Would you really say that? Extremely safe? What is extremely safe? What does that mean?
Like, no immediate physical danger for the most part.
Okay.
And
I mean, everyone's...
There's some rough areas here and there, just like every city.
Sure.
Like, I don't know.
I've actually heard your friend and mine, who I miss dearly, Mike Dean, he's in Guelph. He used to live here.
Yeah.
And he made a point of telling me that the Edmonton public education system is regarded as one of the best in the world. And
I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't know that either, and I didn't know if he was making it up. But he said, when he lived here, like, people from England came over to study it, to implement changes into theirs. And I was like, oh, well, that's promising. And then when I thought about it, my wife much smarter than me, and she was from this product of this. You guys seem smarter than me, so I think like it must be doing okay,
Well, I
right?
didn't go to school at Edmonton. It was
Oh.
Elk Island, but
Well, I take it back then.
yeah.
But it's still, you seem bright. So my point is, it's a good. You would do this. You would raise a family here if you wanted to.
it's not a crazy idea. I think I'm sensing anxiety with you that you're worried that
Well,
you're
I
making
just-
totally the wrong.
Well, it's already made. The decision is
Yeah.
made. I
Yeah,
should have
you're
done this
here.
podcast with you before I made this decision. But no, I'm just feeling it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally, as we're speaking, I've been here a week, less than a week, so I'm trying to figure it out. That's all.
Yeah.
And I figured your insight would be helpful. Now, as musicians, do you feel like you have opportunities here? Like, is the music scene healthy? Are the clubs and venues, like, do you have places to play? Jess, is that something you feel confident about?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of places to play, lots of opportunities to play. Like, it seems to go in waves, but I think it's more like I'm going in waves where I'm not really as involved in the scene at any given time, and then sometimes I'm doing a lot. I feel like the not as involved part has happened more lately. Then again,
That's because you're between records and stuff?
I'm between records,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also like like I my band is more of a specific thing now, whereas it used to be like I could play with whoever was in Edmonton,
Right.
or whoever was wherever I was, but now it's kind of like divided between here and Montreal.
Right.
But I found myself to be shocked that having not gone to a lot of shows for a while and having kind of laid low and had a weird year and didn't really do a lot, then like I just wrapped up, for instance, this year by playing a couple solo shows, and there's a shit ton of people there, and I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't the main draw or anything like that, but I was just like,
You were a
what
big
the
draw.
heck? Like, everyone's here. Like, why are you guys still coming to my show? Like, I
Well,
don't know.
You're
good.
Everyone
No.
loves you.
It's
Faith
not
Healer-
like
I
that.
love Faith Healer, yeah.
But this isn't faith. Like, it's just solo.
Oh,
you
so-
know,
still,
I'm
you-
hacking it out. as
People like
best-
you, Jess.
People know. People love
Okay,
you.
people like me. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm just saying, like, like you can dip in and out, and it's always going.
Yeah.
Like, it's gears that are always turning. Somebody's always, keeping the scene going, and I think that that's really wicked. And there's bars that have or venues, I should say, that have opened and closed, and I haven't even gone to them. Like, there's this place called like the Coral Room.
Coral Plaza. Yeah, I never
Coral
made it out
Plaza.
there
Yeah,
either.
I never
Yeah.
went there, and it's
Oh.
this. I've seen pictures. It's this amazing looking kind of DIY, all ages kind of venue. Looks so cool. It's opened and closed since I've even been there, but there's so many. The scene keeps regenerating itself. Is
Okay.
I guess what I should say is,
Okay.
and I think that's really cool, and I feel really happy and grateful knowing that like having stepped away for it for quite a long time, I can like come back and it's still there. And also it's not like, where were you? You're not welcome here anymore.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right. Yeah,
like,
it's
I can
inclusive.
it's really inclusive. Yeah, it's great.
Jim, same question.
Yeah, like almost word for word. I mean, I've been astounded. I've been doing band stuff here for like 10 years or more, and just like that feeling every time you feel that you need to, be involved and be engaged. In your 20s, a lot of it is the story of being in your 20s, and then now we're in our 30s, and so
Yeah, yeah.
But it's always. I had this revelation like 5 years ago that like I would go away for a while and go back and see all these new bands who didn't know about or barely knew about, and they're just thriving, and they had their whole, the Rocking for Dollars thing on Monday nights is a huge thing, and it's relieving to know that the scene doesn't need you. It's happy to have you, but
Right.
it's very self-sustaining. Like I've always, like people, like what Jessica was saying about some cities where you need to come, like everyone goes to Montreal, everyone goes to Vancouver, and they go to be known in the arts community. And in Edmonton, nobody comes here as a arts and culture destination, which isn't quite
Wait a
true.
minute, that's literally what I did. What do you mean nobody?
No, that's not true. I mean, in a way, that's what
Few
Jessica and I
people.
did. And like for a while, all my music friends were from Fort McMurray. So people do
Right.
come here because it's the major city.
Right.
But it's because it's the major city, not because it's the major arts. There's like 5 cities to pick from. It's just the place to go.
Yeah.
So there's just naturally always a really vibrant art scene of all sorts of music. Like there's scenes coming and going all over the place
Okay.
Yeah.
that we'll never know about. But
Yeah.
like it's very self-sustaining. I
Yeah.
like that.
So
And-
in Guelph, sorry to cut you
No,
off.
no.
I just had a follow-up question though. In Guelph and Toronto, I was kind of aware of some of the concert promotion companies or whatever, like organizations. in Guelph, of course, kazoo. I think you both have associations with the kazoo people. I knew the venues pretty well. Like, I mean, Guelph has some venue issues, like limited accessibility and whatnot, and so that was always a bit frustrating for me. Can you, Jess, you mentioned a venue there that opened and closed, but can you talk a little bit about who's doing stuff and where I should be going, thinking about to go to shows?
Like, I know I'll be omitting things just because I'm a bit hermity lately, but I'll name some that I do know.
I'm sure Jim will back you up too.
Yeah, for sure.
If
The
he can think of-
first thing to pop in mind is Sweaty Palms, which has actually it's a promotions company. It's been around for a while. It actually was started by Craig Martell, who ran Wonder Bar, which is kind of this legacy. Like, it's almost annoying that it's over because I hate to be talking about the Edmonton scene and have to omit that, but it is over. But anyway, Craig started Sweaty Palms, which is a promotions company.
He's wrapping it up. Is that what you mean?
Oh, I mean, Wonder Bar closed years ago.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
But it was just such a thing back then. And anyway,
I didn't know that Craig started that.
Yeah, I think
thought
he
it was
did.
Mustafa.
No, he passed it on to Mustafa. So my coworker actually at Blackbird Music,
that's where you work.
Rafik. Yeah,
That's a good
where I work.
record store?
Yeah, it's a good record store. There's lots of good ones.
There are?
And I'll
Oh.
name some, but
Okay.
Mustafa runs Sweaty Palms, and he does a lot of really amazing promotion, and he's really ambitious about it, and he puts on a lot of really wicked shows. The most recent one that was exciting for a lot of people that I'm aware of was in the summer. Mdu Mokhtar came through, and he put on that show at the Rec Center, which the Rec Center is just like a franchise of basically Rec Room, of like arcade empires across Canada.
Okay.
So it was really
and,
weird, but it was the room that could accommodate that show, and it was really cool. But
Man, that record, that's one of my favorite records of the year.
It's so
Alana,
wicked.
the creator,
Yeah, and so he puts on a lot of really eclectic shows. I've definitely played some of his shows before, but I'm definitely among the more uninteresting of the performers that he gets to play. Like, it's really eclectic stuff, really cool stuff, really inclusive, really wicked.
Did you see that Cindy Lee show at the church, at St. Faith's Church?
No, I've actually never seen Cindy Lee,
Really
but
cool.
yeah, Mustafa would have put that on as well.
Cindy Lee from...
Cindy Lee from Pat Flagel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's a really good one to keep an eye out for.
Okay.
I think it'd be really worthwhile. What else? Do you have any ideas?
So yeah, for actual promotions companies, I don't know as
I
much.
know
like,
in terms of venues, I know the Windspear is something. Right?
Yeah,
These
I
are
mean
bigger.
that's a bigger one though.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's a couple thousand, and so that's a great venue. Like, on the other end of things, there's Sewing Machine Factory, which is this basically basement of a cafe, but it kind of looks like a church basement style. But
like
they
it used
put
to
on
be a church basement. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. And they put on a lot of all ages shows, and I love that room. I think
Very
it's
big
really
in the all
cool.
ages scene for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's tons of venues in between.
So there's tons of venues. That's like
We're doing quite well. It was
Okay.
funny,
Yeah.
like about when Wonder Bar closed, 5-6 years ago, and the Artery downtown closed at the same time. So there was this miniature moment where, it was in the news briefly of Edmonton's in a venue crisis, but by the time the ink was dry,
It's over.
we
Yeah.
had the people who were running the Artery started the Aviary on 111th. That's
Yeah.
quite a cool new venue.
Okay.
They do
Aviary's
some all
great,
ages
and they
stuff
do all ages too. Sorry.
really great stuff. No, totally. And
9910.
9910 started right around that time.
Okay.
There was a venue called Space that we played in a bunch of times. But yeah,
Yeah.
buddy, that same person started 9910. Craig from Wonder Bar got a job at the Rec Room, so he was promoting. He had a thing called Double Lunch. He's sort of taken a step back because he had a baby.
Yeah.
But he still promotes full time at the Rec Room, and they bring in some really cool bands down
Well, maybe
there.
that's what I'm thinking. Maybe Craig didn't start Sweaty Palms. Anyway, just throwing that
Yeah,
in
Double
there.
Lunch and Sweaty
for-
Palms would co-present stuff, so I was never sure what the lines were
Yeah.
there. But
Yeah.
So it's vibrant. You're saying it's quite
pretty
vibrant.
darn vibrant for
Yeah.
considering that we're
Because
not
people
Toronto
thought,
or whatever.
yeah,
like,
people
you know.
exactly, like to your point earlier about like why would someone leave Ontario when they're so close to Toronto to come to Edmonton? That's a pretty widespread perception among people. I mean, even when I posted something on social media about my moving here Jess wrote Edmonton. Cool, like kind of like
That was my initial reaction.
right.
to it.
And I think that's fine. But when you start talking about it, don't you start to realize you might have a lot going on?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's true.
Okay.
It's
You just don't have
definitely
these
true.
kinds of conversations because you do it. We all do it. We take our sort of communities for granted
That's
just
totally
a little
true.
bit, and then when you start having to explain it, you're like, oh, actually, there's a ton of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
Good.
I'm even while you're talking, I'm remembering things that I've missed and stuff like that. There's
Mm-hmm.
just there's a lot. There's so much to do here.
Yeah, there you go. See,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna take. I want to take because I have two of you on the show and you have separate pursuits. I started the show with a little snippet of a new Faith Healer song.
Oh, nice.
What's the
congrats on the new song, by the way.
What's the
Thank
song
you.
called?
It's called 2020.
2020. It's
Yeah.
and you put it out on New Year's Eve.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's mostly led by.
It's so Faith Healer is me and Rennie Wilson, and Rennie wrote and recorded this entire song without really my involvement whatsoever. The only thing I did was sing on the demo his lyrics a year ago, and really I will say quickly, the only true involvement I have in the song is there's one verse that is beeped out,
Yes.
and it's because I was like, I hate these fucking lyrics, and Rennie thought it was funny to beep
Yes.
them out, and then that stayed. So that's about my production input.
Okay.
And so it's the first Faith Healer song that has Rennie's writing both lyrically and musically, and zero of mine.
So in 2020, Rennie's just taking over Faith Healer.
He's taking over Faith Healer,
Right.
yeah.
We all think of it as
Passing
you.
the torch,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So congratulations on
Thank you.
sort of having a new song out.
Yeah,
That's
well,
great.
I still feel like it's me. I still
No.
made the Instagram post.
Okay. Good. So what I was going to say is I want to take a little musical break and play a song by Jim. So is
sure.
it possible for us to go out on a song, or not go out rather? I'm used to going out, but we're going to take a little break. And then when we come back, I want to just ask you what you guys are up to, because I appreciate, and maybe we didn't talk about food. I'm very much a food person in town, so we have to talk about that. But can we play a song from your latest record?
Certainly.
The latest record is called Crawl.
That's right.
Okay. What song would you like to play?
Oh, gee
like us
whiz.
to play, rather.
How about just the title track?
Okay. Why is that? What? Just 'cause
It was the first thing I could think of.
Do you want to say anything about it before we?
I recorded it with Chris Dadge in Calgary,
Oh, yeah.
and we had real fun. We got to do a bunch of fun percussion, which I always like. I think there's some claves on this song, which is always fun.
Okay.
And we were using some pedals that his friend made, some handmade pedals from his friend Daryl Hartz, who, I don't know.
Cool.
It was fun. It was good.
I'm a big Chris Dadge's name comes up on the show a lot whenever I speak to people from
Lovely
Alberta,
man.
and he's a great guy, and he's been on the show actually. So,
Nice.
okay, this is the title track from the latest Jom Comyn album, Crawl, and we'll be right back.
Open up to the sound. There's nothing around you to keep you down. There's nothing beneath you if you wanna crawl. Shoulder to shoulder. slowly your lowest hour, unfolding you slowly by paper or crushing you tight into a ball. But when you crawl, I'll be wishing you were stronger from a place I know I've already left behind.
And we're back. It's nice to have you back on the show there, Jess, Jim. Thank you so much. So I want to take a moment before we wrap up to ask you what you're both kind of up to. And also, I mentioned I wanted to learn more about food because someone told me, hey, you know, I think it was Rolly, Cadence Weapon, food scene in Edmonton is really doing well all of a sudden. Is there good food here? Is there stuff I need to be aware
Yeah,
of?
we have spaghetti in a cone. Whoop-de-doo.
Spaghetti in a
Sorry.
cone?
I'm the wrong person to ask about food.
you don't care about
because
food.
I don't care.
Okay.
Sorry. Jim might, though.
But where should I eat? Where should I not eat? No, don't do that. We'll get sued.
Yeah.
I know a couple of things. I know where I like pizza already, and that's a big thing for me.
You know what?
Tony's?
What's that?
Tony's?
Tony's is
Because
my
I have-
place.
I have like
I
a-
also
I have
like
like a-
ragazzi.
Ragazzi's
Oh,
good,
Ragazzi.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I love the duality between the two places because they were they used to be like brother companies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
One is the originator, and I'm not really sure which. I think the jury's out. I was just talking about this with somebody else, and then one was like the son started it.
Yeah.
And then there is now a ton of acrimony between the two, but
Oh.
it's not just like competitive business acrimony. It's like some family acrimony or something. I don't know.
Well, as you may know, as people who have engaged with the show before, I'm big on pizza sponsorships.
Oh, really?
And I'm going to try to get one of them to maybe...
It's funny.
Try both. Maybe they'll compete over you.
In like talking about Edmonton food, like I have like a bee in my bonnet about Edmonton pizza because I like both of those pizzas, but like Edmonton for the life of it cannot do a slice of pizza.
There's not
You
by
have
the
to
slice.
you have to
yeah.
commit to a pie, which is fine.
What was that
But
pickle,
it's just a-
pickle place called?
Funky
Pickle's
Pickle.
gone.
Yeah, they used to do slices.
Yeah,
were
they did
fine,
slices.
They were okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were a little
okay.
too experimental for me.
Well, yeah, they were making like art.
Yeah,
and,
they were
I
called
just wanted
Funky
And it was
Pickle.
like
Yeah.
$6.50 a slice or something. Or,
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't
one of
know.
the first things I ate in Edmonton, as I recall,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
when I was visiting. I went to see Bob Dylan play at the Northlands Coliseum
Oh yeah,
in 2002, and I remember we got here and I had a funky pickle slice.
nice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
They're
it's
gone
just-
now.
So
Yeah,
you
they're
have to
gone.
slice your own pizza.
But you
now.
know, I will just quickly jump in and say that there's another really wicked pizza in town called Panini's.
Oh, yeah?
It's a boring name. I mean, it's
Well, that's a misnomer if they make pizza. The
Yeah, I
panini
know.
is a sandwich.
but they're amazing.
Okay.
And also like they have free delivery if you order something that's $20 or more, and that's pretty low.
Wait a
amount.
minute.
This
do
is
you-
new to me.
Just
Is
get-
there some conflict of interest here? Do you know the people at Panini's?
I don't. I just love it
Okay.
now.
Because I went to, there's a kind of a more upscale thing called Famoso.
That's right. Yeah,
I liked
that's the
it.
big one.
It's not more upscale.
Oh, it's not?
I mean, they do the like,
the
oh,
stone
we cook it
oven
in the
and-
90 seconds or
Right.
whatever, but it's like a train. You'd find it in like malls,
That's
probably.
true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
I'm sorry.
I liked it.
It
okay.
is good. I actually
Oh,
really
totally.
like it. I like
Yeah.
their margarita sauce.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm a big
it's
margarita
super
fan.
good.
Okay.
Oh, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Mill Creek Pizza.
Oh,
I've never had Mill Creek
You never had Mill
pizza.
Eric never took you to Mill Creek?
Oh shit! Yeah,
It's the
I
Indian
have.
food pizza. It's
Oh.
down in Mill Woods. They might deliver up to here. They won't deliver to me because
Yeah.
they're on 34th and 43rd or whatever. And it's like, yeah, you get like tandoori chicken and
Oh,
like
okay.
shahi paneer pizza. It's some of the best.
It's actually really,
Mill
I'm getting hungry
Creek
just thinking
Pizza.
about it.
Okay. this covers me for now.
Okay.
I'll figure out other stuff as I go, but the pizza inside is good. Okay, I want to ask you both about kind of what you're up to. Jim, you just put out a record last year, right?
Yeah.
And so what's kind of coming up in the near future for you?
I'm up to as little as possible now. I
Okay.
sort of went hard. Last year was a big year, a bunch of tours and stuff. And
Beautiful
getting that
record, by the
out.
way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun to make, and I was happy to finally release it and everything. And
There's something about Dadge and Chad Van Galen, something about the Calgary production aesthetic
yeah,
that I want to go up there and just record something. I'm not skilled enough, but if I ever am in a
they would be-
situation,
yeah,
I just want to make something with those guys if they'll let me.
they would be happy to do that. I bet.
I bet they would too. Maybe. I
They're
know
just
them.
very relaxing. Dad
Yeah.
was just a very chill dude. It was just like hanging out, and then you make some music along the way.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm already getting like I want to be in a band again, and I don't know what I'm thinking. I got so much going on, but I'm already like, yeah, new city. Maybe I'll try something. Meet people
Yeah.
and try and
Why
do something.
not?
Yeah. Anyway, so little as possible. No touring or anything.
Not in my mind right now. I'm playing Block Heater in February in Calgary, and I have a couple of songs.
What's
I
Block
wanna try.
Heater?
It's a festival run by the Calgary Folk Fest. It's their winter
Right.
festival.
Okay. That's a big
So
thing. All these
that'll be
summer
fun.
festivals across Canada do like a winter version now, and
Mm-hmm.
that's good if they can. I just know that I've talked to some in Ontario. They're like, "Why are we doing this?" Because the winter one is sort of more promotion for this big summer one, but then they lose a bit of money, and
And the summer ones already do just
yeah,
fine.
just fine. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's cool though. I mean, I appreciate it because it's something.
No, it's good.
Something to
And
get
it's
through the winter
good
with.
for the communities, right?
Oh yeah,
and the
I don't
artists.
think I would ever get on the regular
Yeah.
Folk Fest one, so I think I'm happy to play
you
this
should
winter
get to
one.
play those festivals.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Okay.
Edmonton has this thing coming up right away called Winterruption.
Yeah,
too.
Jizza from
Jizza,
Wu-Tang's playing
exactly.
it. Yeah, I might check. That's this month, right?
Yeah, his show is like the 17th, I think, or something.
Yeah, I should probably go.
Yeah.
Get 'em on the show.
Where is
Definitely.
that show? What's the
my
big,
gosh,
like-
It's actually at the Starlight Room, I think.
Oh, is it?
Which
That's
is
a big
wild
club.
That's
to
pretty
me.
cool. That's pretty cool.
It's not that big. It's
Oh.
like 900 capacity.
Oh, okay.
So you
oh,
should
even
definitely
lower,
go.
I thought. Like,
I saw a
5 or
show.
something.
I saw a show at the
Maybe
Starlight
between
Room
the two.
Yeah.
like many years ago. I
Yeah.
saw a hip hop show there. So
Yeah, it's good.
It'll
I
be
like the
awesome.
Starlight Room actually. It's
Okay.
it's a bar that's been around forever, and it's one of the. We didn't mention it, but it's been like they just had their 30-year anniversary.
okay, cool.
That bar rules. It's great.
Okay. Jess, what's coming up for Faith Healer? I mean, we know Rennie's taken over, so
Yes,
there's that.
I'll
What are
find out.
Rennie's plans for Faith Healer coming up? Do you know?
As far as I know, well, we are going to be. I'm actually going to be finishing the recording for in the first 2 weeks of February
Okay.
with Rennie. We're meeting up, and we're gonna get that out of the way. We have quite a lot of songwriting still to hash out, I guess, but there's no choice but to be done by February 15th, I think. So,
Why is that?
well, because that's only how long I can be away from work from.
Oh, I see.
And it has to be done by March, or else we have to pay back a grant that we received.
Right, I see. Okay.
So, which is like just not possible. At
it's
this
always good when a creative person has to get something out of the way.
time. Yeah.
That's how we're going to get that out of the way. Is
Yeah.
make a yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But I mean, we've had a long time to work on it, and it's just been a really challenging one for some reason. It's been definitely the hardest I've ever had to work on making a record, and I hope that I hope it comes together. But no matter what, we will have an album finished within the next 2 months.
okay.
That's exciting.
That's very exciting.
Yeah,
Despite
I
your
guess so.
despite your curbed enthusiasm, I
Yeah.
think that's going to be good. I
Yeah,
know
I
you.
hope
I know
so. I
this
hope
is.
so.
Come on, isn't this kind of always how it is with you two?
Yeah, sort of.
Like
Maybe
just
it's
like
just yeah.
grasping at straws to figure it out, and then he's secretly recording your interstitial commentary and then putting it on the record, and you're like,
Yeah.
dude, what do you? Can I have some privacy here?
Yeah.
I'm just expressing myself. Anyway,
I think I'm expressing myself in the vocal booth, but
dude, maybe you need to curb that.
yeah,
Like maybe you'll start to opine and then be like, wait a minute, this guy's like the CIA. He's just gonna put it. He's like wired you. Anyway, for people who want to learn more about each of you, like Jim, where would you send people? I know you have a website.
Yeah, you can go to, if you can spell it, you can go to jomcomyn.com or go to my Bandcamp.
Why don't you spell it?
JOM.
Yeah, there we go.
JOMCOMYN.
Right, .com. And Jess?
We have a website, but it hasn't been updated in a couple of years, I don't think.
But you're on the socials.
But on social media, yeah, Faith Healer on Instagram,
But it's not spelled properly.
it's spelled FAYETHEALER. It's like Faye, the name. It's a really nice name. It's my sister's middle name.
Uh-huh.
And then Thieler.
Is it Faye the Healer? No, it's Faith Healer.
Faith Healer.
Okay, good.
It's just stupid.
You guys are dumb.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I'm here to help you
Thank you
market
so
yourselves a bit
much.
better. No, it's great. Okay, well, this was good. Do you have anything else you want to say about Edmonton, or do you feel like I got to some stuff? Am I going to be okay leaving your house?
I think you'll be okay. Just,
Hang in there.
you'll be okay. It'll be great.
People are like, it's so cold.
It's not.
It doesn't seem that cold.
It's been a really mild winter.
I've noticed that too already. Like it's
Everywhere is cold. Everyone I talk to from the east says, "Oh, it's colder out east because it's more humid."
yeah,
and blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
yeah. This is a dry
Just
cold.
wear a coat. It's
I'm
fine.
gonna wear a jacket. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's an unusual thing I want to propose to both of you, and it's not marriage. I want to suggest, this is very presumptuous on my part, but I do feel like when musicians are welcome to town, or music podcast hosts, one way to get everyone, feeling good about things is to have a little jam. And I know we're in your little practice space.
Yes,
Can we have a little jam session?
Let's give it a shot.
And then see what happens?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
So
Let's
this,
give it a
what
shot.
are we going to call this jam? This could go badly, by the way. If when you're listening to this, there's no jam at the end, it's because it didn't work out and we didn't like what we were doing. But if you do hear a jam at the end of this episode, it's because we had a good time. So
Yeah.
why don't we play a little bit and see what happens? Do you want to do that?
Sounds great.
This is all my idea, and I feel badly for Is this bad? Is this bad
no,
form?
it's not bad at all.
I don't play that often, but I thought we have two good musicians here, and maybe that'll make a...
I look forward to it.
Okay.
I'm about 50-50 as to whether or not we will come up with anything that you'll want to even
Well, I
hint
think
at.
we'll share a little excerpt of whatever we come up with. Now, what are we gonna? I'm gonna, if it's okay, I'd like to play drums.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna play?
I don't know.
You should play guitar.
Primary guitar.
No.
What about you? What do you want to play?
Well, I
Sure.
could just play bass because that's easier.
Okay,
Sure.
we'll figure some configuration, and we'll figure
Or
this out
Jim,
after.
you could
We'll
play the
figure it out.
piano if you want.
boy.
Oh,
That's
okay.
even worse. No,
Okay, we're gonna have a little attempt at a rawly recorded jam session, and if I don't get a chance to say it again, Jess, Jim, thank you so much for being on the show and for welcoming me to the city, sort of. And I wish you the best of luck with everything going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Not many options, but
I'm just hitting record to get a general sense of how things are sounding.
yeah, I wonder if maybe I should play guitars. Who cares?
Not my stick. Well, why don't I just hear what that sounds like? That's just drums, though.
That's okay. I'm just waiting for this to warm up.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll wait till we get
Maybe you always
something of a level.
This? Yeah. Well, not always. I bought it from Renee actually like 6 years ago.
Yeah, I recognize it.
I remember because the deal was $500, and I gave him $500, and then on my wedding day,
That's right. Yeah,
he didn't come to my wedding, but he texted me that morning over and over, reminding me that I still owed him $50. I'm like, dude, fuck off! I'm trying to get married. Oh, I see.
Let me just take a listen to see what that sounded like.
Send it
Was
right
that
off.
okay for you? Was that all right? Was that fun?
I expressed everything I needed to express.
Okay, that's good. That was fun. Maybe we can do this again. We'll do it again sometimes. Okay.
Do your Edmonton thing that you do.
Yeah, I'll just go and.
Jam in my basement.
Is this Randy Bachman-esque? I'm like, hey, I also play music, guys. Hey, I'm a musician. I don't want to
Well,
be
we
that
talk
guy.
about how we introduced the Beatles.
That drum loop, a loop of me playing, and then put it just in the back.
Yeah, every interview I do.
Yeah.
No, thanks, guys. That was fun. A very special thanks to Jim and Jessica for having me over. Jessica, thanks for having us over at your house, first of all. That was great. That was wonderful. It was helpful for me to learn more about Edmonton. And again, Jim, Jessica, thanks for being on the 516th episode of Creative Control, which is part of the Entertainment One podcast network and is available on all iOS and Android platforms and also on Spotify, YouTube, Audio Boom, everything you can think of. Creative Control is there for you. But if you can't find an episode that you've heard about and you're looking for on any of those things, or if you want to learn more about me and sign up for my regularly scheduled newsletter, please visit my website, vishkhanna.com. You can also like Creative Control on Facebook and follow the show on Twitter at vishcreative, or follow me directly at vishkhanna. Also visit patreon.com/Creative Control to make a flexible monthly donation to keep this podcast going. And again, there's a $6 tier. Anyone who pledges $6 or more a month now has access to exclusive content that I'm providing on the Patreon page. If you go on the patreon.com/Creative Control, you can actually take a look at some of the things that I've posted to people who pledge $6 or more. So if you'd like to donate $6 or more and get exclusive content, that would be great. Whatever you can donate, though, per month would be helpful. Again, patreon.com/Creative Control. Thanks again to Pizza Trokadero, The Bookshelf, Planet Bean Coffee, and Grandad's Donuts for their in-kind support for this show. Thanks as always to Jim Guthrie, my dear friend. He lets me use music of his on the show, and you can learn more about Jim at jimguthrie.org. And finally, thank you. Thank you for listening to this program and subscribing to it, and maybe suggesting to your friends that they consider doing the same. And I am going to go out into the wilds of Edmonton and learn even more about it, and then I'll be back with you before you know it. So thank you for listening. I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.